Through trials and tribulations, you have prevailed. The spirit is unbreakable, never derailed. With a rich heritage and culture and grace, Liberia, you are the land we embrace.
You are welcome to the Bottomline Liberia.
You are watching the review of Liberian newspapers' headlines that made news during the week on the Bottomline Liberia. Please join us every Tuesday and Friday at 7 p.m. Liberian time, 8 p.m. UK time, 9 Central European time.
And indeed, you welcome to the Bottomline Liberia discussions today, this beautiful Friday evening from my end, the 19th of June, 2026. We've gone half year already in 2026, and so we got 6 more months to go, and we'll say goodbye to the year 2026. But in the meanwhile, there's a lot of things happening in 2026, and so like we said, we bring you major headlines making news in our country, Liberia, and sometimes we cross borders as well. So this beautiful Friday evening, I will be proud to be joined by my colleagues, Paul the Lord Chilupe and Mark Judafa, and hopefully Francis Mensah may be joining us. And so we want to say welcome to the Bottomline Liberia discussions, wherever you are and whatever you're doing. We ask that you take your seat and be a part of us as we go through the program tonight. But let me say welcome to Mark Judafa from Sweden. He's my closest neighbor. So Mark, welcome.
Yeah, thank you very much. And I would like to say welcome to our viewer. And hi, brother Paul. How you doing?
Federal world, it's Friday. People say, thank God it's Friday. When it's Friday, then everyone is happy because that's where the English will go to the pub. They drink a lot of beer. And then lately, England has performed well at the how they call it, World Cup. So I'm telling you, the weather is fantastic. Everywhere is overcrowded. People are just drinking alcohol and then having a great weekend. Yeah, what I'm saying, it's good to be here. It's good to be on Money Living. And it's good to share the platform with the good gentlemen in the house. I think we need to have a female on this program too. It's good to see all of you. Yeah.
I don't know how the weather there.
Well, no, the weather is good. I mean, to be frank, it's been raining since last week. It's been raining on and off, but yesterday was good, and today the sun didn't really shine. But I mean, just in the evening it started shining. But the weather is good. It's warm. We are reading 19, 21 degrees right now, so it's good. Even though the sun is not shining, but it's gonna be a good weather. And Paul talk about the football. You know. Norway played, I think 2 days ago. When did we play? I forgot because I was not really feeling well. And everybody, I went to the shop right that evening. When I went to the shop, you know, here we do another UK port where you can go to the gas station, you buy your little thing. They get special play where they can sell it. Beside beer, where they can sell in the supermarket, and get special time that I can close. I think it's the same thing in Sweden. So when you miss our time here, it's 8 o'clock in the evening. When you miss at 8 o'clock, forget it. So around 5 o'clock, our man came from work, my man. All you go here, the beer can 6-pack, 12-pack. The man you can here because the game started 12 o'clock, almost 1 o'clock in the morning. So the man was supposed to stay all late to watch a game for me. I went to sleep. The next morning, almost everybody was kind of tipsy. But I mean, at least we won the game and we're very happy. I think in our group we are leading. But I think the World Cup is doing well, and England, African teams are doing well as well, except for a few of them. And so I think it's interesting.
Yeah. But you know that the thing with football, usually football, it have this thing of unifying the whole world, unifying when there's crisis. The moment football intervene, everybody just forgets something about the sports, man. I mean, the person who came up with the football, I don't know, but this is one of the greatest game,
Paul,
man.
look at it. Look at the game. It's that crazy game. Imagine you chasing the ball when you grab it, you keep it, you run behind, you run right, grab it, kick it, then you kick it again. The game is saying yes, so that one when people go play, when all the people men are running behind one thing, and when you catch it, you can't keep it. So then the spectators too, I think the whole game is just fun. I think that's the thing about football is fun, and talking about it can bring people together. I saw a South African player that they interviewed, and the guy was literally crying. He was like saying, "Let the other African people support them," and even they as players, people mock, people mock them, and But the thing is, yes, we are Africans, but the way you treat other people, and so people got reservation in as much as we got an African feeling, because every African that African team that play in the league in this particular World Cup is my country playing, because I know this is Africa. But it's true, Paul, that the game brings people together and yeah, unite people.
Yeah,
But
exactly. Talking about the game bringing people together.
mhm,
If you, I mean, while watching the game in America, right, you
mhm.
find out that everybody, all the countries, they have their fans to support them. But if you check, 90% of the people that are attending the games in their national colors wearing the T-shirts, they are from different countries, and those countries that are participating in the World Cup, and just for few that are not in the World Cup, but just to show their, I mean, the color of the country. But then what happened is that uh, they are all citizens of America, even though, yeah, they support their countries individually, and but they are all citizens. If you check, 95% of those attending the games are American citizens, but they are from different part of the world that make the country the United States of America. But then a tiny fraction, I mean, the majority want to claim that they are more American than the rest of the tiny pops. I mean, people from how they call it, the other part of the world that made America. So I just want to stress that aspect before we get into our topic, because it's something that bring people together.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Well, you're right, man. It's the land of the immigrants, so you have that. So everybody from every part of the world is steal all our best ideas into that country, and this is what we get. And now the racist people now they getting to hit the fact they come up with all kind of silly behavior. Yeah.
Yeah, but Paul, you want to drill us through some of what we'll be talking about tonight, and then we can take our musical break while we share the show. Then we'll come back. We'll be going through.
Yes. For our audience, for the sake of our audience, the $19 million cocaine crisis in Liberia. We want to know, why is it up to today's date? We don't know how this appeared on the airport, and they are chasing people back and forth on this drug issue. We are concerned on the bottom line discussion tonight. Is that something that the government is aware of and they play kakalika? We want to know. So we want our viewer to chime in. And then one story that we're not going to forget about on the bottom line is the Guinea-Liberia border dispute. Have the government sold out? We want to know. These are the topic, and then we'll be looking at all of. We'll dive into it tonight and want your feedback as well. Linfa.
Okay. Yeah, and practically we'll be looking at some of the people involved. People, I mean, when I mean involved, people who state security is holding as people of interest. Two of them have not been able to appear because they were away, and they are not being able to appear. So what's happening? Are they escaping, or is it for security concern? We'll be looking at all of those. So stay with us as we come back, and we'll be going into details of these and help us to share the show.
My people, where you at? Where you at? Wake up from your slumber, stop sleeping. Whip your hands, whip your hands, whip your hands, whip your. Come on, come on, come on. I know you're sleeping now. Y'all gotta wake up some more, yeah? Okay, let's go. The people who us, the people lie to us, the government betray us, so much. I said they lie. The people who us, the people lie to us, the government betray us. They can lie, they can steal, they will not go. I said we tired with their lies, we tired with their promises that led us to a lot of damages. We tired with that speech they preach indeed, and now unique they deceive us. The thing we saw, it frustrate us. So why did you lie? Why did you steal? Why did you allow the citizens to beat? You see, we just tell you that why we voted you. But you screw us, you screw us, you use us and later on abuse us. So why? The government should lie. Why? But that's the question that we ask. The people fool us, the people lie to us, the government betray us, so much. I said they lie. The people fool us, the people lie to us, the government betray us. They can lie, they can steal, they will not corrupt. No one to trust. My people, no one to hope on. Nobody. My hope that I have been broken. I'm telling you, brother. So where are the schools? Where are the roads? Where are the jobs that they say they could afford? But they're too selfish. The people tired with their rhetoric. People tired, they tired. You see the reason why we ask why the government betray. They have enough of time, but yeah, then stay, they delay. People suffer. No work for people crying for hunger. Look at. Your vision and your mission, your intention to the nation, they poor. You got nothing to show. Nothing. So why? The government should lie. Why? But that's the question that we ask. They lie. The people fool us. The people lie to us. The government betray us. So much. I said they lie. The people fool us, the people lie to us, the government betray us. They can lie, they can steal, they will not corrupt. We tired with their promises that led us to a lot of damages. We tired with that speech they preach indeed, and now unique they deceive us. The thing we saw, it frustrate us. So why did you lie? Why did you steal? Why did you allow the citizens to beat? You see, we just tell you that why we voted you. But you fool us. You screw us, you use us and later on abuse us. So why? The government should lie. Why? But that's the question that we ask. The people fool us, the people lie to us, the government betray us. So much. I said they lie.
You are watching the review of Liberian newspapers' headlines that made news during the week on the Bottomline Liberia. Please join us every Tuesday and Friday at 7 p.m. Liberian time, 8 p.m. UK time, 9 Central European time.
No, I just means I'm making suggestion on sometimes.
And so welcome back. This is the Bottomline Library Discussions. We want to say welcome again. If you're joining on the first time today, we are here every Tuesday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday with different editions of the program. So if you miss any of them, you can stay tuned into another one. Every Saturday, Francis Mensah is here with your story, and then on Sunday, Paul the Lord Chorople is here with the audience. So you can be part of that audience. Paul, we have two pressing situations in Liberia, but one of them, in fact, all two, for me, all two are very pressing and they are very grave to our survival as a nation, but they are in different forms. One is the drug pandemic that we have in Liberia. We have been having this thing under 3 administrations now, from the Ellen Johnson Sirleaf administration to former President George Weah's administration, and then now under Bouaga administration. And we all see the effect of the drugs. Everybody that lives in Liberia, or even if you don't live in Liberia and you live out, but you got family in Liberia, or you follow the news back home in Liberia, you see that the drug has been very, very, very bad to the youths. And we are losing our next generation gradually to this drug. Some of them are dying, but the rest of them who are alive, they will be not useful in the future. And then the next one that is burning is this border issue where we have lost. I would say that because if I went to Paul's house and took his clothes and he's not getting it, he's not sure whether you will get it anytime. I think then he has lost them. So we have lost part of our country, Liberia, to the Guineans, and the circumstances seem not to be getting better from my own perspective. I don't know how you guys look at it. For the fact that the Guineans have been there 4 months, going to 5 months, if not 5 months, which is very troubling. And so these two topics are high on the agenda tonight for our discussion. And so, Paul, I'll let you to take us through the first one, and then we can all come in chiming on it.
Okay, let put this flyer off for our viewers that are following us. This about the $19 million cocaine that were found at the Rawa International Airport. And up to now, this have been an ongoing investigation. We all are very concerned about the drug issue. So we want to know what is happening. So Linford, you're right. So I just want to put that off first. But this thing here, this thing going back since Charles Taylor, let me not say Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. The drugs, something started with the child soldiers. We know that. And what have been happening. But government upon government, since the civil crisis ended, we have how many presidents now? 3, right? Ellen Weah and yeah.
Okay, yeah. Judy Bryan was out.
Those were interim. So since Ellen Weah and Bouaga, all of them, this same crisis with drugs have been there. So it's something that we're trying to understand, because what is happening, drugs now, Liberia become the drugs hub. I think Liberia and Guinea-Bissau, if I'm corrected, on the continent. And this is not good for our nation, but from what we're trying to pick up here, we know that big hands are always involved. But this time around, who behind it? And this is quite embarrassing. So as we dive more into the conversation, we're gonna look at it from different perspective. So let me just talk.
Before Mark comes in, let me set this picture all right. You mentioned something very important, that the practice of drugs in Liberia we don't want to say we are not saying, because somebody will argue and say, oh no, long before Taylor time, people were smoking opium and thing. Yes, people were smoking opium. Opium is that this kind of drug that the people are using now. So people were smoking opium, but even the effect was not like what we see people sleeping in the graveyard. Somebody will just sit and sleep and die. It wasn't like that. Okay, but during the wartime, the child soldiers got introduced to drugs. But and people will always blame it on the Taylor administration, fine, because they war came. But during the war, 1992, when they had a temporary ceasefire, and we were in Habel, we used to visit Monrovia. I remember on a particular day we have gone to Monrovia from that time we were in Habel. So as journalists, we went to Monrovia, and right in front of FANA, the FANA ministry, right under there, they used to have this club, not club, or something that I call Monte Carlo. Normally, when we went to Monrovia, we stopped there to have some drinks and whatever. And we saw one of our former ERBC employees, and the guy said, man, you can see something. The guy took us somewhere between there. Man, what we saw, something they used to call Doogie. I mean, the people, it was the same kind of drug that people are taking now that makes you unconscious. You lie down, whether people walking or you can't feel it. And we saw this thing. So, and Taylor was not controlling Monrovia. You see, it was ECOMOR. So we all know our neighbors, our neighboring countries, what they can do. And then they get an opportunity when no proper government in place, war is taking place. So Liberia became the war you use, the hub for drugs at that time. But every time people will blame it on it. In the interior, yes, we are in Greater Liberia, the biggest thing you could see the opponent smoking, that opium, they used to add a bear opium, that one the whole person and the car they smoking. But the type of drugs that people were taking in Monrovia were quite different. And then fast forward, Monrovia, everybody came together. The rebels from across the line, the one from Monrovia, they all came together, they blended. And so this thing became pandemic during the wartime, and the series of war that followed from the 1990 war all the way to 2003. Okay, so 14 years, this thing started happening in Monrovia and all over the country. Remember that when the road was open, so the people that had not tasted the other thing, when they came to Monrovia, said, okay, we can take it back. This is how it spread all over the country. But fast forward, Paul, you also mentioned that we have had 3 administrations. They said they disarmed the boys of the arms, which we all saw. But they did not do enough to disarm these people from the other bad practices they were doing. You see, so they should have taken this instead of just taking the physical arm from the guys. The government should have known that these people were practicing drugs. They should have rehabilitated them, taking them somewhere where you can you make them to become in other words, you cleans them up, let them become somebody. But they failed to do that. And the 3 administrations that were at least peaceful or that were peaceful in the transition, they have not done anything until today. We still suffering with this drug pandemic that it has even become so widely spread that we're talking about millions. And we're not talking about thousands, we're talking about millions. So, Mark, if you get any observation.
So, Linford, regarding this $19 million drugs that were caught on the airport, this is not drugs coming in, but it's drugs going out from Liberia, coming to Europe. Think on it.
Yeah, but let me put you on a point. You continue. Let me put you on a point. You see, no, the thing they call the drug. Drug is very difficult to trace. If I'm just giving you an example, if drugs is coming from maybe South America or somewhere and coming to Denmark, Norway, or Sweden, I'm using those countries as example because I live here. Okay, so if that drug is coming, they will not put it straight on a flight from maybe Brazil straight to they play. No, they make it difficult to trace. So that drug, they might take it from Brazil, maybe to Russia, back to China, to Kuwait, to and different people receiving it at different points.
But you're missing the point here. Okay. The drug was packaged in Liberia and was taken on the airport. So when drugs coming from other places, they have a way that the way they package it, that they have to pull chicken soup over the bag in Liberia. They didn't do it on this other side. So it just tells you that there's huge quantity of drugs in Liberia.
So are we suspecting that it's manufactured in Liberia?
Not manufactured. I didn't use it. It was packaged, prepared, sent on the airport to travel, packaged in a way that they put palm butter with it in Liberia to send it. So you see the packaging of it.
That's confirming what I said. Because when they are transporting it, everywhere you land,
I want Brother Mark to come on. The thing is, it's already there in Liberia. The way it came into Liberia, we don't know. But the way it was packaged to leave Liberia, that's the concern.
Yeah.
So, Paul, let's get one thing clear on what Linfo is saying, that trying to answer your question, the drug is already in Liberia, which we know. Yeah, so that should not be too much of something for to emphasize on. But how did they get into the country?
Mm-hmm.
And through which port of entry it got into the country?
We don't know.
Is it through the borders, our neighboring countries, or is it through by sea, or is it by air?
That's the
and
question.
Looking at the quantity of drugs that is assumed in the country, because from the $100 million, which is not just a suitcase of cocaine or heroin, we're talking about, something to, it could be the size of a 20-feet container. Okay, so what we're looking at, there is a warehouse or storage in Liberia. We see what is happening between Venezuela when Trump started to kill what they call drug smugglers, and these people that are so sophisticated that they transport drugs from South America as far as Thailand, as far as Malaysia, as far as Europe. In fact, there was a huge quantity, just to carry Linford back, a huge quantity of drugs arrested, somewhere in Scandinavia, worth hundreds of millions of dollars, and it was done. And a high police officer was involved in this particular smuggling, and he was arrested and judged and, I believe, sentenced. But in the case of Liberia, I just want to make one correction to my brother's statement. Add on to that, for example, in Liberia, what our brothers and sisters, our brothers used to smoke, it was marijuana. So marijuana, then from marijuana after the war, then it started to go to another high level of different substance. For example, like what Linford called the doogie, the heroin, the cocaine, the different stuff. On the Taylor side, the boys, they were ruthless and no control. So the child soldiers, they were indoctrinated into smoking, consuming these drugs, so that their mind, they've been manipulated, easily to be manipulated by some what they call so-called revolutionary motivation, that they are fighting for a cause. So once the children were under the influence of these high substance, then it's easy to be manipulated, looking at someone that they look up to, or that they have heard the name, or for example, the Charles Taylor, or like some of those big names that were in Liberia. And then to going back again to this drug, something, it started little by little, and Liberian politicians did not put enough attention or pay enough attention to that. And some of the stuff that Linford was talking about, or you, Paul, were talking about, that they did not do enough when it comes to rehabilitation, is that those that were in the political arena some of them are still around today. They now made these recommendations to the international community that these children need to be rehabilitated because most of them were under the influence of drugs while fighting, even though the evidence was there. But they how to call it, the rehabilitation aspect did not take place. Then fast forward, and it started to go on gradually like an infection or like some cancer that is certain part of the body and or like a sore that is not being taken care of, but the sore keep expanding because you're not looking after the sore. Instead of finding cure to the sore, you're not allowing it, but then recklessness, the sore has eaten half of the arm or what's a part of the body it is, and now we have come to this point. And from the Madam Selly administration, from the Taylor administration to the Madam Selly administration, the ghettos and stuff starts to expand. Then coming to even the interim government administration, most especially when the multinational force, for example, the West Africa contingents, the Nigerian contingents brought in more drugs to Liberia than any other contingent in Liberia today, for which Liberia is uh, paying the consequence because the ECOWAS contingent from Nigeria, they were part of the drug smuggling to Liberia because it becomes a high social habit that a lot of Liberians were involved in, even those that fought the war and some of those that did not fight the war. So from there on, and then we come on to the Madam Salif, from the Madam Salif to the WIA, where the $100 million drugs was, how to call it, seized. Okay, and who brought in the drugs is a question that has not been answered today. And those that were suspected, why were they released and returned back to the countries that they came from? And how was it? What made the Justice Ministry to just, or the, how they call it, the court to just release these people based on what conclusion they came up with to release these people? And the Liberian people have not even asked the question, how, based on what ground these people were released? Who are those behind this $100 million drugs? It has not been established. How the drugs came to the country was never established. And where is that drugs today? It can also be established. Was it burned? What's the evidence? Was it burned? Was it destroyed? What's the evidence? Was it destroyed? What happened to that drugs? Nobody know. But then again, the next thing is that people started to flee the country. People that got evidence as to how the drugs came into the country and who are those names that are behind the drugs. People from the security apparatus start to flee. Some of them, every time XYZ travel, they seek asylum or they run away. And then the same thing happening in this particular administration where you have someone, I mean, two persons now refusing to return to the country because they are connected and they know some figure within the government or past administration that are connected. And how well is the cartel established in Liberia? Is there something can be done or anything can be done to put an end to the madness? Is the cartel more powerful than our government, for which our government officials they are threatening and they cannot do nothing about it, but they are just going after, I mean, small criminals within the society? These are questions that people within the media landscape need to ask and the ordinary Liberian people need to ask.
Right. Linford, let's talk this thing. This thing is quite interesting. Mark says something. The $150 million drugs that were seized, and those people went to prison, and then the judge released the 3 people. The next day they disappeared. Nobody know whether it was destroyed. That one. You see, No, but we know. So whether the government kept that drug, we don't know how. Because I remember when we were small during the dual administration, when they catch huge chunks of marijuana, they will burn it for the public to see that this marijuana had been destroyed. But the past government and this government cannot tell us what of those drugs were destroyed, which warehouse or where it was taken. That's interesting. Now, if Liberia is the center, that means you have the huge drugs gurus that have influence in Liberia, because where is huge money, they influence government. We look at the Colombia. So if Liberia is heading that way, now, Mark, what you mentioned about these guys that are on a run, they made it clear, they voice it out, say they for their own safety, they cannot return to Liberia because they want to treat them as guinea pigs. But now, web front page have shown us that a vehicle drove on the airport to bypass. So it can't be the layman, it have to be top up. Something is just not right. Yeah, go on.
And talking about that vehicle, who that vehicle belonged to, which government agency or which private sector that vehicle come from, it needs to be established. And once it's established, then
Mark, when they're on their operation, they don't put lesson plate on the vehicle. It's just dark vehicle with flashing light on it, so you cannot trace it. Oh, the vehicle registration is this. That is the cartel operation.
No, but if you were investigating, if you was giving this case, for example, there are some things that you can start putting the puzzles together with evidence, what we call evidence. So with the vehicle serving as an evidence, and then you start to go after what kind of vehicle is it. For example, if there was CCTV camera, the tires of that vehicle, you can start from there. And which garage, but Liberia is not that sophisticated to
That's
come
why
to
I
that.
just
So from the video, but I want to believe that there is video CCTV on the airport. Exactly, the CCTV on the airport, so that you can go after that vehicle. How many of these vehicles are in the country? So you can start from there. How many of these vehicles are in the country? And then to looking at the shape of the vehicle from the camera, you're going to print out a lot of pictures, and then you have people of the forensics team going through those pictures and try to establish, is the government, first of all, your government is not spending money on security for that matter. Your whole security apparatus could be up to maybe 12,000 or 15,000, including the military. So that tells you that this country is fragile. You understand?
But Mark, the way you explained it, that is what will happen in a normal country. Liberia is in a normal country, my brother.
No, it's not in a normal state. It's not in a normal state of being Liberia.
Okay.
But what is going on in the country is not actually. And these are things that are supposed to awaken Liberian as to how they elect their leaders. Are these people capable of doing the good work that will have Liberian people to have sound mind and good rest, and think about the future and prosperity of their children, of our children to come.
Yeah, okay. Leave for road of video and talk to us.
Yeah, actually, it was just a still picture, but it was captured from the CCTV camera at the airport. Now, if you look at this picture, you will see there are key things here that you can point to. There is an individual sitting on the fence. The car, the SUV is parking near the door. There's a door over there, and there's a taxi here. So there are other people where if you can see. So it's easier to trace at least the individuals that you can see here. And how did that car enter? Which part of the building or the airport did that car enter? Because I know at that airport, there's no one entry for car. That is a VIP entry. Okay? So
And Brother Linford, if the videos are not deleted, right, from the CCTV whatsoever storage or background that they use it or that they use, you can still go back from the time of entry. That particular car, when they enter that whole airport premises, and then going back as far as and then you.
But the screen is small, but here you can see the tiny capital. You can
why
see
you're making it so complicated? If this guy bypassed to go on the terminal to carry this thing, the security on the ground saw the people who bypassed the system. They saw them. They know them.
Yeah,
the vehicle itself will go, but the people who took those boxes out of the vehicle, they know them. They have seen them.
But what we're trying to do, we are not ignoring the fact that people know these people, but we're talking about if there was any serious investigation, things that they're going to put together. How they're going to put the puzzle together.
Not according but what you see on the screen is small, but the real picture I have here. So there are two cars, three cars parking on the wall. Then this yellow taxi, and there's a lady with the yellow vest there. So she can't just be ordinary person. She must be
working in the airport security.
Yeah. So she's sitting on the fence here.
And to make something clear, I am always around the airport. There are some people that work at the airport. They don't have that clearance to go a certain part of the airport. Their ID card doesn't permit them to go certain part of the airport. Their key card doesn't permit them to enter certain part of the airport without some high. First of all, you get police clearance. Then, if you are to go on a terminal, on the terminal, you have to get, for example, clearance from the national security, from the NSA first of all, because that area has to do with like in Sweden, what we call it the SAP, which are the highest of the security apparatus in Sweden that will give you that clearance, and it will take, if possible, a month or two for them to go through your whole background check before you go there. So anybody that will bypass the rightful procedure that your luggage handling and go through scanning, and you just enter that place with, it's not even said at the VIP section that you have some other, even at the VIP section, there are things that people, if you fly in your private flight, okay, but stay yet, there are areas that they have scanner to scan whatsoever you are flying with, because you are going to another country. It's not in your country that you're not flying domestic. So let me just conclude, my brother. Then, so Brother Paul, to answer to your question, those guys that went inside on it, how they call it, the termite, they have ID cards, or they got certain people that permit them to enter. The CCTV picked them up. I want to believe absolutely the CCTV did. So there were investigation, but the people that are in charge of the case, they play on the mind of the Liberian people. At the end of the day, let's see what's going to happen.
And that's the point I was trying to make, though. Liberia is not a normal country. So when they say they will investigate, they know the people. They don't want to pinpoint the people that have done it. They're looking for scapegoat. Look, the question was asked on the program tonight, how does it enter Liberia? Mark, if you travel to Liberia, you get around international airport. Some people luggage that come in, they doesn't scan it, they just pass because
they say they are VIP.
That's the fact. Somehow they can pick it up. So you don't know what the person is bringing in, but you allow them in. So something that's not right on that.
Even Brother Paul, we're focusing on the airport, right? These guys, as I mentioned to you, they got these small, tiny, sophisticated boats that travel from one end to another. So in your coastal line, it's not being protected. Your coast guard is underfunded. For example, they don't have like normal days, those coast guard boats that used to patrol the the coastal side during the day and the night. But now you're from how they call it, Maryland to Cape May County is vulnerable. So these guys could come. We want to focus on the airport, the seaport.
No,
First of all, I don't want to. I'm coming.
Mark, we're not only focusing. The question it come from all over because we know even the land borders is open. We know
but
that.
one of the area I will, if I'm investigating that I will want to erase would be, for example, places like Ivory Coast of Guinea that will allow some $100 million worth of drugs to transit through her and come, because Ivory Coast is a very equipped country and they have some sort of, I will give it to the Ivorian, their security apparatus is well trained and they are well funded by their government. So I don't want to believe that this quantity of drugs will pass through the Ivory Coast like that. This drugs is coming into Liberia direct from somewhere.
So Mark,
so it could come. It could come
in peace. It don't have to be in one buck.
But Paul, have you been following how huge quantity? It's not to say they arrest someone on the airport like how they do in most cases. They arrest someone with 1-2 kilo of
no. Before Lipo come in, what I'm trying to tell you here, it don't have to be on a big ship that all come in. We have the borders are open. They have the thing with ECOWAS. If you have ECOWAS passport, you move. It's free movement, and all West African security are corrupt to the teeth. That's the fact. Africa, Sierra Leone, Ghana, all of them are corrupt. And you know, the Ivorian, they will go behind, close those.
But having an ECOWAS, but Brother Paul, let us not miss the language.
No,
having an ECOWAS passport doesn't make you a diplomat for you to have.
No, you're not getting what my point here is free movement. That free movement,
I understand.
Listen, you can have Nigerians. You can have Nigerians coming in. You can have these people coming in. If the cartel decide to use the entry part, they can use it. They don't have to put it
the same way. The same way with the EU with the Schengen visa. That's the same free movement, but it doesn't. It doesn't allow you that because you're part of the Schengen. You can move here from France. You can move from here now, or like for example, the Scandinavia countries where I can travel from here to Norway. It doesn't mean that my goose, I fly from here to Norway, I won't go through any kind of scanning of luggage.
I'm talking about Liberia. Let me come in.
Few things I want to establish here. When it comes to the drug thing here, it's very easy for the security to trace. The drugs entered the airport on May 22 at 15:45, that is 3:45 p.m., 7 seconds. 7 seconds after 3:45 p.m. the CCTV captured this picture. Okay. And in this picture, there are 3 cars parking against the wall. The lady sitting on the fence, or yellow taxi parking here outside of the fence. The SUV parking near the wall under an air conditioner. Supposedly there's a dude right there. And there is an individual standing to where the car supposedly entered because there's the opening there. So the CCTV camera captured all this information. And this is sufficient for any advanced security apparatus to begin their investigation. But that's one thing. Like Paul said, Liberia, the investigation, they will promise, but we'll never hear the end. But the next thing I want to talk about again is when Paul say, oh, you know, the package with chicken soup. No, Paul, these are people, the criminal is 100 steps ahead of the security. The security is just starting. But before the security can start, the crime has been committed. So the criminal is always 100 steps ahead of the security. They know. And remember that these people, they study the security before they can commit crime. If I want to come break your door, Paul, I know you can be home in the evening. I'm coming there. I'll let you. I'll tell you. I know when you're going. So these drugs, in as much as they package them with palm butter and thing, if it came from different country, drugs when they enter a particular location, they try to cover and conceal it in the terrain. Imagine that these drugs are wrapped up in some kind of paper from Bolivia. They will say, oh no, they think I'm from Bolivia. So when it lands in Liberia, you got to cover and concealment, change it to the local, let it look local. So you put some local thing there to conceal it, to make it look like the ordinary goods.
So you want to validate the point I'm making? There is a warehouse in Liberia that they look.
Yes.
That's what I'm trying to say. So that's why I'm talking about the packaging. That's what I've said. The packaging.
So my point here is these things, the way they travel, they don't travel in straight line. They go zigzag from one country to another. Take it, in fact, you can even take it back to the same country it came from after you are going all around the world until it end up to the place. And there are people who are connected, not just traveling. So every time it comes to any local country, they use the local means to get it out. See, you understand what the point I'm making?
I got that point. Now I say the packaging. So the packaging, that means there's a huge consignment in Liberia where
somewhere
it's already in. It's there. It's in Liberia. And so let me say something before you conclude. Before you conclude, if you go to Buchanan, around 3 o'clock in the morning, Buchanan Airport, our Liberian immigration,
seaport.
The seaport, our Liberian immigration, 3 a.m. in the morning, they always catch those Fanti Kinos. 3 a.m. So when we talk about these drugs coming in, and Matt said it that we don't have Coast Guard. So if a kino coming from Ghana that enter Liberia 3 a.m. in the morning, it comes from the route of Africa Coast to enter Liberia. You see what I mean? So you have that situation. The border is not secure. So people can use...
the kind of border will get the border, all of the border, airport, seaport, and land border in Liberia.
It's not secure.
It's just a fishing net. It get hole everywhere. So when you put in the water, you lift it, all the water will go. So it's very porous. Imagine, look at that long land border will get with Guinea. Then it can enter Aroko. It start with Aroko and go. Then we get a 350 kilometers of sea coast. So it's not mad. You see? So we sat down right there, we saw Guineans sitting in Kino. I mean, the Guinean soldiers sitting in Kino and crossing to take our land. So waiting for people who are, drug traffickers who spend enough money to make sure that their items go. But guys, I think all we can say is that we hope the government, and my concern is, why is the government, they put out a boy picture, article, and say that this boy was the one who drove the drug to RIA. But the boy, his parents are saying that he's been there a few years back. So how can their body drive? So you see what the government will always tangle itself in these things. And then they create more doubts in the minds of the citizens than answer the questions that matter. So this is where we got problems.
But man, when the big hand inside, they always find something on a little person. I said it here. Look, that vehicle that went in there, they know who the driver of that vehicle, they know the person who that vehicle belongs to. It's not a rocket science. They know the person who took the thing out to carry it. They know that person know the person. They know the people. They want to go for the little people and forget about the big hands. This is the fact. They know. That's why the government is kind of mute, because there's somebody big in the thing that is being protected. That's the bottom line of this.
It's not just somebody but a poor. The government is not just serious to fight this case until once they hear the name Interpol entering or getting involved into this case, then you're going to find Liberian government waking up their government officials in the security apparatus waking up their asses. And I think this is something that the international community, Interpol need to get involved in, get on the ground in Liberia, and try to establish as to those that are involved and those that are being involved. If possible, if they can arrest Duterte, right? Duterte was cleaning up his country when it comes to this same drugs pandemic. Now, Liberia, you don't have a responsible government to say, look, this thing, because you could make your case. I mean, if you start to clean up Liberia, going after those that are involved into the drug trafficking in Liberia, arresting them, and you're giving the security apparatus the opportunity or the power to do whatsoever it takes to have these people to clean up the country. And Trump is Trump is protecting his citizens. So you could make the same argument that, yeah, I'm protecting my citizen because this thing poses a danger on my human resource capital for tomorrow, the young generation that's supposed to protect this country. So if you have a responsible president giving authority to the security apparatus to crack down on these things, you'll find out that within a year time, Labrock will be clean. And if the international, community with the what you call Interpol get involved to start making public or going after some people, you find fear being injected into the government for them to do the work, because this thing, past government officials, they've been involved, present government officials, they are involved in the drugs business, along with people outside the country also involved. What kind of citizens, what kind of people do we have in Liberia? What are their business in Liberia? What kind of foreigners that work in our government? What's their position in the government? How much money these people they get? What kind of lifestyle they have? And then two, you look at people that live in our rural area along the coastal line, how things are coming into. This thing is very dangerous to the Liberian people. But even if I talk to some people, I don't want to just call names at all. That this drugs business in Liberia, yeah, ordinary Liberian that go to bar, that go out and thing, they know top government officials that are involved. They know ordinary Liberian, Liberian that are involved. They know foreigners that are involved. They can give you their nationality. They can give you their names that are involved. So these are things that if you get on the ground, you investigate for yourself, you ask ordinary Liberian in question, just in your own community. They'll tell you, oh, John Brown, I've been involved with a drug business. What your evidence? They'll start giving you one or two things that you yourself, you got to process, put together, and then your own analysis, and you come out to say, yeah, this person is right.
Okay, but yeah, therefore talk about the
thing I want to also close on with the drugs thing is these two individuals. Now, while the government is still carrying out investigation and they are not even supplying enough evidence to the public, but two key people that they named, one is Paul Peter, or Paul King rather, sorry, because his brother's name is Peter as well. This Paul King is believed to be reportedly shuffling between America, Europe, and Liberia, as usual. And then there are two people. So if you look at the screen, you see two guys. One is wearing a coat white, and one is wearing black shirt. The one in the coat is the Paul King, and the one in the black is Oscar John Brown, and this Oscar John Brown is supposed to be the security intelligence supervisor at the RRA, meaning that he's a bossman for all the security people there. But this fellow is in China as we speak, or at least he was in China when this drug business started surfacing. And he was supposed to return to Liberia this coming Wednesday, which was day before yesterday, and he did not come. At the same time, this Paul King was supposed to return to Liberia. Both of them were supposed to return on separate tickets. On separate planes, separate tickets, but they did not return. So far, no contact yet established with Paul King, but according to front page Africa, this fellow, Oscar Brown, was in China when this thing happened and he was supposed to return. And then Spoon TV, Spoon Radio did an interview with him where he said he is safe because there are speculation that something happened to him, but he said he is safe, quoting him, that he is safe, but he's refusing to return to Liberia because of his security. He got tipped off, according to him, from friends and family members that his life is at risk. So, guys, I just want to 1 minute each. Can we take the statement of this guy seriously? That because his security is at risk, that's why he doesn't want to return to the country, or is it that something he's actually complicit in this act and he doesn't want to come? Let me start with. I mean, as for Paul King, we don't know much about him, but this Oscar Brown, who is a security intelligence supervisor at the RI, is the one we are quoting that he said he can't come because his security. So let me start with Mark. Mark, you think we should take the guy war, or do you think he's refusing to come because he's actually connected to this thing, giving his position?
But this thing is not a 1 minute top article. It says stuff that one can take 1 minute to elaborate on the thing or take a couple of minutes. Because the first thing is this guy who is in China. If I was advising or a family person, I would advise him not to return to Liberia because he could be used as a scapegoat and take some of the blame that he worked with the actual traffickers to bring drugs into the country. And if I was...
But given his position, don't you think he could also be aware of what was happening?
Yeah, that's why I say he's an insider who knows a lot. So looking at his position or observing his position, I would advise him not to come to the country, and then to try to start getting in touch with people that can provide him protection, and then don't show his location as to what part of the world he is, if he's in China or not, because he could be security against whosoever or whatsoever group that is involved, and then to, in return, be asking for some kind of a clemency or pardon from whatsoever judicial system that are going to be processing the case tomorrow. Because what is happening now, these two people, if they return to Liberia, they could be assassinated and then the blame be put on them, like someone planting evidence on the dead person cannot speak. But
yeah, but somebody will argue that you want them to evade, or to evade prosecution. Because what is my question?
Yeah, who gonna prosecute them? The same people that suspected. That's why I said they should start talking. That's why I said they should start talking, because once they start talking, they will have public backing. But if they remain silent to say, "Oh yeah, but you didn't listen to me in Linford," if they remain silent and say, "Oh, I don't want to return to Liberia because I'm afraid of what? You've been part of the system. You work in the system. You got connection to people. So start talking and start getting in touch with lawyers that will start coming, because the government doesn't want to. They're talking about because of the investigation, so they cannot go public. Yeah, we agree that some part of, not the whole investigation, some part of investigation, you cannot go public with it, but you have to feed the public. If you're making progress, you have to feed the public with certain portions, certain compartment of the process that you're making in the case, some development that you're making in the case. But some sensitive issue, you cannot tell the public until you come to your final conclusion. And that is what the government of Liberia is not doing. So these two people, they could come to Liberia and then they could be assassinated, and the government, because they are according to the Liberian system, these are well-off people, you understand? So they could be accused to say, okay, they are working with certain group in Colombia, they are working with certain group in XYZ. I am putting these guys in a position to be witness against whosoever that is bringing the drugs in the country. But for them not to be promised, oh, your kind of country will protect you, because if you, there's some clip that is on the social media from Stanton Waterspoon showing pictures of somebody who is at the executive mansion, who always is at the second row, what you call the back row of Joseph Boyka, or always standing closer to Joseph Boyka, who has connection to this particular drug something. And Stanton says, and I quote, so this person is someone who that's supposed to be questioned if the security apparatus was serious in Liberia, but it's not like that, Linford. So I'm not saying that these guys should flee prosecution, but what I'm saying, they could serve as witness because they are well connected and know lot. They know a lot.
Fair enough. Paul.
Linford, you get Paul King over there. Paul King and his brother Peter King, they have a logistic company in Liberia.
Right.
And it was their company that were used to send out the consignment that we're talking about. So that's why the government want him. But he said he was not in Liberia and his company is not aware of that going out. So you see the confusion here. Now the other guy is a security. Now, it could be if these guys are dealing with Colombia drugs cartel, they are very ruthless people. If they come now with certain people and this security guard, if he's the one that did a tip off, that they know that he knows something, and to have in Liberia, because he knows something, he could be eliminated. So I agree with Mark on this. Stay away from Liberia. Give information about things now, because Mark, you talking about Interpol. The British, Europeans, American security have gone to Liberia. That's what made Joseph Boyka to give that audio recording. The pressure is on them because they were bringing drugs.
And Joseph Boyka, as a liar, there was nothing happening to him. He wasn't sick. He just don't want to appeal to the public and made that speech public. But nothing happened to that woman. He's a crook.
So you see what's happening now, because the Westerners have put pressure on Liberia. That's why he came out with that vetting that they will investigate. And that investigation is going nowhere. You remember?
Oh, no. I don't want to agree with you, Paul. Let me tell you one thing.
Let me finish. Then you can let me finish. Then you can disagree with me. When the Capitol building incident happened, Gregory Coleman told us that they had geofisher, that they were people that burned the building. They had the dots, they crossed the dots and T's. Today, that investigation flag is still in court. No answer. If the government decided there was incident in Cape Man, the Bee Mountain, when the police shot 3 people there, up to today, they still investigating nothing. That the airport team they will investigate is going nowhere.
Just to add on what Paul said, you have how many auditors were killed in Liberia?
4.
During the past government.
4.
There were 5 auditors. Okay, 5 auditors killed from one of the, how they call it, the prestigious department of government. Okay, auditors killed, and up to now, nothing come out of it, and no investigation. Where's the continuation? What happened to those people's family? So it tells you that once you are a witness to any kind of a crime being committed in Liberia, and some high person in the echelon is involved, you have to be very careful. And you have to, put yourself in a position with people that are going to protect you, not even Liberia, because in Liberia, the nonsense they talk about, witness protection. Where you got witness protection, where? You can barely pay people one time. You talk about witness protection. Do you know what it means by witness protection?
Let me
Do you know how much it costs for witness protection?
I'm still, you see, this is what I like about this show, right? We all hold different view. You guys, I don't know what should I say this, that you guys are considering these guys to be the witnesses, but I am taking them to be part of the whole plan that bring it. I'm security. I'm just looking at it from a different perspective, right? That I am the security boss. You're bring that in, I can make it pass. And
Yeah,
that,
but Liver, sometimes criminals are also used as witness against their own
yeah, I agree.
gangs.
Yeah. No, 100%. I agree. Because that's why we always say you got to be inside to know what is happening. You can't be outside and know what's happening. So everything we say here, we ourselves, we just speculating. But our speculation is genuine. The reason being that government is not giving us any proper information. So we are just looking at our own intelligence and using it to speculate. So I am saying that these guys, especially the security guy, as for parking, he told me he communication and he community doesn't know. My friend, our shipping and logistics, there is nothing, no item that will go, even if I'm taking routing on one of my hair to send it by ship or to send it by airplane, I must have
Everything will be listed on a bill.
Yes, you know.
And you see the interesting thing, the Paul King brother is the one that on the board of the oil company called Nukar.
Yeah.
You see how you see the closeness. So you see all. So as you start moving the parcel, that's what people keep saying. Big hand in the government.
Of course, brother.
That's why they go for the layman.
See, and it's not just this government, the WIA administration, the SELI administration.
Exactly.
These people have damaged, like most especially the woman they call Ellen Johnson. This woman administration damaged this country called Liberia today. The soul started from Ellen Johnson today, and the soul is eating
okay. Wait. You see, for me, I let it based on the past and say, oh, you know, the last time Matt spoiled his shoes, or that the chair sitting down in, and that Matt was sitting in the chair here, he told the claws. No. This particular government, they use this drug thing as campaign message against the WIA administration, for which
I agree.
So there we shouldn't even be. We should be talking about no. Listen,
yeah, but Linford, I agree with you. Everything that this government said, the promises that they made, but I knew from day one that they were not going to fulfill one of the promises that they made. Most especially when it comes to. So we shouldn't
be blaming the Ellen people.
Most especially when it comes to. What I blame the Ellen administration for is that these institutions, if they were well fully established, the next person that come, for example, they say if you're a cleaner, I think it was Nelson Mandela who made that speech. Say if you are a cleaner, you should learn to clean good, so that when somebody is passing and chewing peanuts, that person will be mindful to say, "Oh, I can't see how they call it, trash on the road, so the dirt, peanuts. Oh, we got some peanuts. They move the peeling from around, right? Or let's say someone with peeling or chewing gum or candy, for example. You'll be mindful not to drop a candy paper that you just open and put a candy in. You must say, let me throw the paper on the ground. So Mandela said, so Ellen done a good job. The next person coming after her will be very mindful, because by that time, Liberian people are being used to decency. Liberian people are being used to accountability. Right. So if you come, you're not going to mess around with what the 12-year gave them, and for you to just come and turn it back around and let it go back into the trash.
Fair enough. Good argument. So, Paul, anything next?
Yeah, let's move to the next topic. But let's take a quick break, Linford, because on Sunday, I will be having a very interesting guest on Sunday. And this one is trying to pull some big fish, but then I got the leader of the Mandingo Association in the Europe. They're having some big fundraising to raise $1 million for people back home. So we'll be having him on the program here on Sunday to talk about how their community is doing so well compared to other communities. What's the secret? So we'll be having the leader of the community on this program on Sunday. But I want also take a quick break. So this is the flyers that will be coming out. on the weekend. Yeah, this is the guy. We'll have a discussion here. This is a huge community. They are very big. They have in a program in AUKUS, but
Are they all Liberians?
all Liberians,
Okay.
Liberian Mandingo Association in the Europes, in
Okay.
Europe. So that would be quite interesting to find out from him. Now, Mark, next topic. I'm big concerned, and I'm going to put this up here, Linford, is the situation with the border. The Liberian Guinea border issue, it hasn't gone away yet, but we get the drug situation have taken over. Every day, different news have taken over, but people, the government of Liberia refuse to tell us what the heck is going on with the border situation. So we want to chime on it for a few minutes before we leave from here. Guys, this border issue, 4 months on, no hay, no tay. If the government say they have in diplomacy, but we don't know. Every day, new thing coming on, the border issue, just quiet. We don't know. Have this government sold the land? We don't know. We only ask questions. It's confusing. People don't talk about it. Mano River Union have not spoken on this. ECOWAS have not spoken on this. AU have not spoken on it. UN have not spoken about this situation, but the Guineans are happily sitting on the land. Have this government given up on our land? Brother Mark, then Linford.
Actually, it's a good question, but it's something that, I mean, I can't answer to say the government for giving up, but I think the ordinary Liberian have given up because the voices are not being raised as to how it should have been, that should have called for massive protests across the country up to now, because this president, he lies a lot, something that he should have been impeached for if the opposition, because the opposition lawmakers, they are in majority. And if you compare the lies that come from the administration, one lies after another, but they had the courage to go and remove the federal lawmaker for speaking the truth. But they cannot have that same courage to hold the president to account, have the president to be accountable to the Liberian people. So the Liberian people themselves too, they are like some form of soldier that you shake the bottle, it may foam, and all of a sudden it just subsides like that. And from one thing to another, things that pose national security, things that endanger the lives of Liberia, things that slow down the prosperity of Liberia and the population. When these things happen, Liberian people, they only react for 1 or 2 days, or if possible, for a couple of weeks, and all of a sudden, that other thing gonna get quiet down. So the government psychologically and philosophically understand how the Liberian mind thinks, for example. So they use that against the Liberian people to play on them. But this border issue, I think, I would want to say that there's some sort of deal that is being made, because you have Guinea now, the area that used to be called Liberia, or are Liberians supposed to claim, used to claim, you have Guinea coming deep into Liberia, 8 miles into Liberia, where people used to do their farming. They are all being displaced. So what is Liberia now? We don't know what Liberia is. So, like I said before on the show, the State Department, anything you want to know on Liberia, the State Department have those documents, and then too, the first country to recognize Liberia was the United Kingdom, or let's say Great Britain, and Britain has a lot of documents when it comes to Liberia, the same as the how they call it, the State Department. So to go back to where the border is, the demarcation between Liberia and Guinea, in order where Guinea just decided to come into Liberia like that, is it because Joseph Boakai weakness for which to take advantage of the situation? We don't know, because had it been a young, energetic president, I don't think Guinea would just wake up like that to say, okay. But instead, this young Guinean militant turned surveillance leader studied Joseph Boakai and decided, so you know what, there's a sleeping old raccoon that is president in Liberia. I'm gonna do what, and looking at the security apparatus, say that I can do this, and nothing gonna come out of it.
So, Linford, what say you? The border, we're not hearing anything. It's gone quiet, but the Guineans are happy. They live in there now. They build houses and all that. They not go anywhere. And everybody just kind of quiet. What's going on?
Yeah, that's what we call diplomacy, quiet, make it quiet, No, no, but they see, listen, when you lie, when you make believe, and this is where a lot of people fail, because you imagine, you make believe that yes, I can do this and I am this, and you are not. It's good to be natural. That's why I admire people who are natural like me. That as you see me, it's me. I will not tell you, Paul, I'm this and that. No, it's me. You see me. So these people made us to believe that they got all the experience. They know everything. And Paul he too started giving them more grants, started performing dismally. And so they were able to convince the Liberian people. Because if we have performed well, this unity party, especially unity party under Joseph Boakai, would not have gone anywhere. Number one, these people, they started doing crook deals from the start. They were in the CPP. They lied on Mr. Coming only to get away through to be able to stand as a party, because they couldn't stand as a CPP. Coming were going to dominate them. So they had to do something to break away from him, and they were able to lie. And I don't know where's the other crook, Benny Ayure, because he left in the dust. and then they were able to lie their way to power, right? And you get a pregnant woman. When you start needing, you start formatting, you say, you pregnant? You say, no, I'm not pregnant. After 2, 3, 4 months, you start laying back small. What happening? Then you start to face reality now that you are pregnant. So they lie their way through for the 7 years experience, blah, blah, blah. You take power. It took them almost the first 1 year to form their government. In fact, 1.5 years just to form the government. Something that they would have done in 2, 3 months. Because as a politician, and then you running for office, you should have, you should identify your people already. That okay, this is John Brown, and John Brown is good at this, so that the moment you win, because the country not waiting for you, momentum. But it took them almost 1.5 years to form government.
And you are right, Lenfo. The pressure that was put on the George Weah government through the creation of the CPP is not the same on the Unity Party government, because I think the opposition community, they are in, I don't want to say disarray, but they have not come together yet, or they are still sleeping. They are not woken up from the dreams yet to say, oh yeah, let us come together. These are national security. A lot of things going on in this government that pose national security threat than even the Weah government. I think the highest stuff that to that were, we are government, there are two things that I can point to. The lives of the 5 auditor that cannot be compared to nothing. And then 2, the $100 million drugs. And when it comes to the corruption of money missing here and there, misappropriation, I mean, these things, they are also on the higher level in the Baka government than the past administration. So I don't know what the opposition community is. I mean, how they call it? Yeah, they are waiting for to come together.
You see, normally this is where I get problem with no Liberian politicians or even the ordinary Liberians. There is no damn thing like opposition politician that you wait for to do what needs to be done. If the government, if you know your government is performing this poorly, in the first place, when you went to elect, who is your president now? You did not depend on opposition politician. You went as a voter, and the person you wanted to vote for, that the person you voted for, you didn't ask the opposition politician. So no, all the whole thing about waiting for Liberian people. If you know that your life is that straight, this is not what you voted for. Stand up. But again, Liberian being this kind of country, Christian country, where we always depend on someone as savior to come from somewhere to come save us. If it is not the international community that the opposition. And can you imagine? Paul just mentioned something that I want to talk about. That the Americans and the EU and the British, they've gone to Liberia concerning the drug issue that we're talking about. That's what made the president to even talk. But let me tell you, do we need the British people to come to our aid in something that affecting us? Suppose they say they're not coming. So are we going to perish? Do we need the Americans?
No. For the reason why the drugs are coming to them.
Exactly. They want to stop the danger. They want to stop the danger. They want to stop the soul.
Okay, yeah. Thank you. I gotta pass straight. But what I'm trying to point out, highlight it is that Liberian, we got a culture. We saw the war. The war was coming. We say, international community, you can't say for order, even run away. You want an international community to can take you and go. You see, so we always like that. We want savior. You elected a government, and this government is performing this money not to your expectations. Why can't you stand up? Haven't we learned that freedom or
if you Linford now were to go to Liberia or you were in Liberia now, you start to put people together to say you want to stage a protest concerning these drugs or some corruption or some in your community or in the government, the next thing, your life be threatened. So the next thing, the people you're dealing with, they don't want to go to prison or be beaten by a group of thugs that call themselves police officers. When you find police officers become alcoholic, they're drinking, they're committing suicide. Nobody's killing police officers. Because there was some clip I listened to on the social media. I don't know how true, how authentic it is, but a lot of police officers attend to alcoholism and taking their own lives. And what the psychological reason behind that?
I really wanted to save that video, but when I click on it, something happened. It went away. Where the police girl was drinking and the guy did a video. He said, "Officer, I'll post the video. You saw it, man? You saw it, Paul?"
No, I've not seen that
video. I've seen it, but what happened is they acting.
Yeah, the acting, I know.
The acting, and people took it out of consideration. They were making awareness of the police.
Yes, but what's happening?
Yes.
The point I'm trying to make is, Liberia is like this. We do not stand up. Hey, man, we got 4 million people. I mean, 4.5 or 5 million people in Liberia. Monrovia, the population in Monrovia, can outnumber the AFL and the police, the CRD, everything put together. All the people in Monrovia.
Definitely.
Yeah, all the
Definitely.
people. I say nowhere for Monrovia.
I stand with you, Linford. If the people are really serious to stand up for their community,
because in the first place, you a sister there.
For the police, exactly. The policeman, you start with this kind of publicity that You that in the police that will oppose us, know that this hardship, your family is already also affected because you're not being paid well enough to take care of your family. So we are fighting to save the country from how they call it, from falling apart. But in doing that, you must have someone within the leadership, people that will lead that kind of because the society, the community is based on the how they call it, the political institution that run the society. Society doesn't get run itself. So that's why when we talk about all the opposition political parties, these are people that lead the community. So no matter what you do, the ordinary citizen, if they move the government through peaceful protest, nobody go anywhere, everyone just stay in, and they can get food, they can get this and that. It will say, okay, we come together, we resign. You still need politicians to run the affair of the country. The country will not be run by market women or how they call it, wheelbarrow boys or
but man, let me give you a scenario. Let me give you a scenario, right?
Let's close up now. Let's close up. Go on.
Yeah, all the people in Liberia come out, or in Montreal come out. The government, the pressure too much. The government say, okay, we are stepping down. It's the same people who will say, okay, we want Trump Brown. That Trump Brown want to come.
See, but you have to go through process. Yeah, they have to go through a process in electing John Brown.
What I'm saying is that generally Liberian people, we are these kind of scary people. We don't need to stand up. Because if we know how to stand up, you know how the Gen Z in Kenya, you know how to shock Ruto government.
They always, not just one time, they always. Yeah. They don't put up with crap from Ruto.
So gentlemen,
until our people learn to stand up.
Gentlemen, there's something called democracy that we try to copy and we think we practice it, and we don't practice it in Liberia. And we think we pretend we lie to ourselves we're practicing democracy.
Democracy is not just to go to the ballot box to elect
exactly. Leader. If you want to protest in Liberia, will come and use military style on you, then they say we're practicing democracy. It's not. It's a dictatorship that we practice it. We call it democracy in Liberia. Could you imagine you copy a system that's all be check and balance? You ever heard the legislature checkmate the executive? No. We just have the name that we don't practice. It's just dictatorship.
Even the system itself is corrupt. The mind of these people is corrupt because where money can. You heard I think one or two lawmakers on tape saying that if they don't give me my money, I'm not going to sign to remove Yeke Koluba. Okay. If you had an independent, if you had institutions, right? Like I was referring to institutions. The first thing, you have the chief prosecutor of the country going after that particular video as to where that money is coming from. If that money is coming from the executive branch and who in the executive branch that is paying that money out to have a lawmaker removed. And if that thing go as far as connecting the president, the next thing will be calling for the president to be impeached.
No, but it's the president that called the people from BRIC.
No, are you trying to lay the premise in how it was to work
the president called the people from BRIC, say you come and remove one of your own. And they say yes. So that democracy there. Now,
whether $30,000 will pay out or $25,000 will pay out.
So, Lifa, don't blame the poor people. You see this guy called Moba Molu. He decided to have a protest. What happened? They got some of his men, they landed in. So they tell you, say, oh, it's freedom of speech. People must, but then if you won't go express it, they come after you. So it's not freedom of speech in Liberia. And I agree with Mark. Let me learn on the then just close. I agree with Mark that you see a politician that won the seat. Don't side with a government that you want to own seat. In the UK, the black girl called Kevin that giving the Labour Party hard time. She does not go for the good thing that Labour is doing. She always hit on the bad thing that Labour is doing. But in Liberia, our politicians say, well, our leader, okay, then we're happy with it. You gave in a room. Look at the border issue. Acquire. Look at the drug something. This is where the opposition shall be pounding on the old man that say he get headache, he gone to Ghana, he must get headache every day. Don't give him chance because he decided to get into the young boy game. Give him the medicine for him. Pound on him every day, he must have headache. Don't go for him put it on some kind of funny role somewhere, you go praising. No. You go for the issue that the child still said in cold water because he made a promise, say, honor him, no child will sell drink between cars. They still happy. Why don't you pound on it every day? On that note, I want to say, guys, the drugs issue is in the hands of the big people. Liberia is in a terrible mess.
I just want to close. If you had a serious government, there are a lot of former security operative that in America, good Liberian, that serve in good positions, and you even still have on the ground in Liberia former Liberian security, operative that in Liberia that still capable of doing good job when it comes to our security. So if you had a good government, these guys could be brought to Liberia to fight the drugs issue in Liberia. It's not big and it's not too late to be repaired. But the government is not a responsible government. So for that reason, they cannot contact capable Liberian. They are well-capable Liberian, well-trained Liberian outside the country, in the country, that can handle that whole drugs issue and clean Liberia up for within a year time. But because the system is corrupt, the system is corrupt like a rotten fish that you cannot repair. How to call it? That you can not put in a pot to cook, and the whole soup is going to smell rotten. So that's the system we got in Liberia now to deal with. And the next thing, they're going to start hunting people. If things get too tight in Liberia, start hunting people, start hunting their family. The same thing that happened during the past government where 5 auditors were killed. So I just want to come to that. Liberian, we need to continue singing the song. Maybe it would draw the more attention from the Interpol that took President Duterte. If the guys get on the ground, you see 200 men on the ground in Liberia. Then when Joseph Baka's son is involved, when he's afraid of his son being taken to some kind of a cage or some kind of underground in the Eastern Europe, then he will come to himself, be afraid. Or if a government official be taken to Eastern Europe that he got no contact with the outside world, because there are some prison that these guys that sit in Liberia, they don't know about. So on that note, I want to close on that.
Linford, send us home.
Well, thank you so much, guys. I think we've discussed it, and like I always say, Liberia problem that old car. When you're fixing the engine, by the time you finish the engine, the tire bursts. Then you got to start fixing the tire. So we've been talking about the border dispute, and then all of a sudden, drugs came in again. And maybe, who knows, before the week ends, or maybe early next week, something else will come in.
Oh, I forgot, guys. There was a company in Liberia where I saw the Joseph Baka, I think they call them Mensa. It's a mining company, if I'm right, and they're supposed to go to the southeast. This group came up with $600 million, and they are giving, I think, a contract supposed to be 25 years, but how much they will be mining out of Liberia for that $600 million, nobody know. And they sound like
Mark, let's bring that topic out next week because it's quite interesting. Get the detail, let's dive into it. I think it's a good thing to talk about. Please.
I think okay. Because I comment on it. It was actually on the Facebook, and I comment on it, and I'm like, and a lot of unity partisans were praising. I'm like, the ignorance of this unity partisan will make the country go broke. because 25-year contract you're giving to people because of 600 million. What's this? What's the 600 million? You know, and what I don't understand about this concession, right? If they say a
man, don't spoil it here.
I come in. But I just want minimum, man. If they say that we can Paul, if they say someone come with $600 million, is that person, because I am confused as to how it's done in Europe compared to America, I mean, and Liberia, most especially. If I have a coconut tree and you say you want to buy a coconut, okay, you want to buy a $10 coconut. Should I claim the tree and give you the coconut? Or are you going to claim the tree and pick the coconut? You provide a ladder to claim the coconut tree. But you will not come and you say, okay, the 600 million, I mean, the $10 you give me, I should build a ladder out of that and claim the coconut tree and give you the coconut. At the end of the day, what am I left with? The ladder?
Yeah, that was positive. Those are the big of the story.
Normal. Yeah, you want to go, you want to laugh in the soul.
Yeah, the woman pregnant, but you want your, we're going to be more, Paul.
Yeah, so I don't understand how
that's a good topic for Tuesday, my man. Let's have
so we keep that one. Yeah, we keep that one. And go back to that comment you made on that story so that you can continue to follow it. So you can
dive in it, because that's a very good topic. Yeah.
So guys, on this one, we let us see what have a good weekend, and just before we go, let's do justice that the upcoming programs on the weekend. Tomorrow, Francis will be here, and Paul will be here as well on Sunday. So
Francis is on holiday, so tomorrow.
Okay, Francis is on holiday, so at least we show up Paul. So let's just give you a gist of what Paul does here on the program on Sunday, so that just in case you have the time, you can join him.
In a world drowning in noise, where sound bites replace substance, there's a voice cutting through the chaos. Audience with the Lord Chola Play conversation, where Liberians and global citizens tackle the questions we're afraid to ask. Every Sunday at 8 p.m. UK and Liberian time, and 9 p.m. Central European time, Audience with Lord Chola Play. On the Bottomline, Liberia explores the issues that keep you up at night. Democracy's future in the age of misinformation. Economic systems that serve people, not just profits. Technology reshaping our lives. Reconciliation, development, and the crisis of meaning in modern Liberia. No easy answers, no tribalism, just intellectual courage, genuine curiosity, and the willingness to wrestle with complexity together. This is for Liberians who refuse to shrink their thinking, who believe nuance is wisdom, who are ready to remember how to think, not just what to think. Audience with the Lord Cholo Play Show. Sunday, 8 p.m. Liberian time. Subscribe now. Join the conversation on the Bottomline Liberia, because the questions that matter most are the ones we're brave enough to ask.
So I want to say thank you very much for joining us. And if we didn't recognize you, we're sorry. Or you can come back on next Tuesday. The 14th will be here. But tomorrow, Sunday, Paul is going to be here. And on Tuesday, the 14th will be here. Then Friday, the 14th will be here as well. So I want to say thank you very much to Paul and Mark for being on the show tonight. I've been away for a while, taking care of some personal business. But I'm back, so Tuesday we'll all be back here. Paul, it was good being here, and have a good weekend.
You too. Yeah.